Good morning. Good morning. I'm Dr. Renee, and this is blackdoctor.org's Facebook Live. Today, we're going to talk about how to boost your immune system during this, period, but during this pandemic. So I know a lot of people have been watching our lives, and a lot of people keep asking, well, how do you keep your immune system up so that, God forbid, if you do come in contact with COVID-19, you are not one of the people that gets sick from it and you just are asymptomatic. So I thought I would get two of my favorite experts when it comes to stuff like this. I got Dr. Rowe. Dr. Rowe is nutritionist. You've probably seen Dr. Rowe on The View, on Anderson Cooper, on Dr. Oz, and Dr. Rowe just left us. Okay, she'll be back soon, I'm sure. Yeah, you've seen Dr. Rowe in a whole lot of places. So I will see her in a second. Coach Chandler. Coach Chandler is not a stranger to blackdoctor.org. She has been on before, and we had a lovely discussion. And so I brought her back because she has some great welcome back.
Welcome. We had a dropout. Sorry about that.
So she had some really great tips. So I knew that she would be the perfect person to help you guys to understand what we need to do to boost our immune system. So first things first, we have to take care of housekeeping. Please like and share. Please like and share. Start watch parties. I know you have lots of people that need this information for whatever reason. They are maybe they're one of the people that are likely to get very, very ill if they do get COVID-19. So please make sure you share this information out. Ladies, please feel free to start watch parties on your pages as well. So this is earlier than usual for blackdoctor.org. So we are doing a little bit of an experiment here with Dr. Renee, but I know that people are going to watch because it's great information. So let's get started. So first things first, and we've already said it a million times, but I will say it again in case you haven't heard, that Black people are dying at alarming rates from COVID-19 because of obesity, hypertension, which means high blood pressure, and diabetes. All three of these conditions are things that can totally be handled as long as we check on our health, as long as we eat properly. So those three things have a lot to do with what we put into our bodies. So Coach Chandler, please tell us what would be your very first suggestion to boost your immune system with food?
Just one? I was trying
Not
to
just one, but just let's start the conversation.
Well, that's a great question. It is a very popular question right now. I have been getting that question a lot over the last couple of weeks. So the first thing, when we get into talking about the immune system, we have to consider what would cause the immune system to not be functioning at its best. And so before we get into the nutrition aspect, we have to think about when it comes to having a compromised immune system. Some of the reasons for that are nutritional deficiency, vitamin deficiency, mineral deficiency. So that's a factor. You got some echo going on, right? So that's one factor. If that factor continues for long periods of time, it can cause weaknesses in different systems of the body. Now, sometimes people are born with certain propensities that cause certain systems in their bodies to be weakened. But the nutritional deficiency aspect can also cause the issues with different systems of the body, right? So let's say someone has respiratory issues, right? I have a niece that was diagnosed with asthma really, really early on in her life.
Like me.
I was diagnosed with asthma really early on in my life. Now I no longer have it, but in those cases, that's a weakness that they have to be, or that you would have to be considerate of. And so when we combine those two things, the nutritional deficiency aspect, and then there could be a weakness that resulted from nutritional deficiency or nutritional habits. And then there could be weaknesses that you just may have come into this existence with, right?
Right.
And that combination can make things worse. So all of that together will cause the body to not function at its optimal and the immune system to not function at its optimal. So now the conversation is all about, how can I boost my immune system? The first question we should ask is, why is your immune system not functioning at its best? But if you're looking for solutions, which is what this is all about, if you are looking for solutions, some things that I think everybody should consider at this time. The number one thing is, how can you boost your entire body so that it can function better? So my number one is going to be, I know more people are home now. They're not out as much. They're not exposed to as many people. And they should be a little bit more settled for the average person. I know we have the essential workers. They don't have as much flexibility. But my first recommendation for people is, if you can, do something to detoxify and rejuvenate your body over a 10 to 30-day time period. That will fortify you tremendously, because whatever supplementation you choose to get, whatever food you choose to eat, all of that can be much more effective if you deal with that one aspect. And it can, I've seen it turn people's body around in a very short amount of time, just that one thing. And then you said one thing, so I'll focus on that one thing. And then when you come back to me,
okay,
I'll talk about the plethora of additional things that everyone can incorporate into their daily lifestyle that can also fortify them during this time and beyond.
Okay, Dr. Rowe. So let's just start off with one thing that you think would be an immune booster in this time.
It's the way you eat, definitely. It's the food. It's the food. You know, you got to have more. You have to include beans in your diet. You have to include, you want to get seafood, in particular shrimp and scallops, because they can give you up to 17% of your daily needs. You want to definitely include leafy green vegetables and green vegetables overall, because they go a long way to boost your immunity. Include more mushrooms in your diet, because those also will boost your immunity. And then
Oh, shoot, we lost her. Okay,
so you want
go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I do agree with in having things. I'm going to try to simplify it. Eat things that are going to be more nutrient rich for your body. So when she said the leafy greens, that's excellent. I'll give it back to you, Dr. Rowe. I
don't know. I don't know why I keep getting kicked out, but it could be on my end. So I fully take responsibility. But I will just say quickly before I get kicked out again: green leafy vegetables, beans, mushrooms, garlic, and onions, which are called allium vegetables. Not only will they boost your immunity, but they go a long way to protect you from heart disease, one of the main factors of a comorbidity that we suffer disproportionately with as a group, as a community. Black people have a lot of chronic diseases that worsen our chances of thriving in this particular situation, in this pandemic, and that set us up to be more vulnerable. We are a more vulnerable group because we carry a lot of chronic disease. But that said, we can protect ourselves by eating better. Also by moving. You boost your immunity when you get exercise, as opposed to being sedentary sitting on the couch, which I know a lot of people are doing right now because you're sheltered in place and staying at home. But I urge you to get up and move your body, because that's going to boost your immunity. Sleep is also going to boost your immunity. We get, fewer than 6 hours of sleep per night, when the recommendation is to get 7 to 8 hours. Why? Because one, it boosts your immunity, and it also helps.
Go ahead.
So what I want to talk about is, sometimes when people are forced to shift in a short amount of time, which COVID-19 is, it's a force. It's forcing people to think about their health differently. It's forcing people to change their behavior. I want to give some ideas and examples of things that you can incorporate into your daily lifestyle that would allow you to start working on some of those things, so that it becomes a part of your everyday reality, and it doesn't feel like this big, massive project and now your life is on the line. Because most people, if they haven't already started shifting to make their health more of a priority, doing it overnight or doing it as a result of this would be much more stressful for them.
Right.
It will cause, a lot of people are going to need therapy after this. So it's going to cause a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, and a lot of people are going to give up because they feel too overwhelmed. So some of the things that I feel like the average person will be able to grasp, understand, incorporate fairly quickly are citrus fruit work extremely well for helping to get a lot of vitamin C in and boost the immunity. One way to incorporate that in a practical way is I am a big fan of lime water first thing in the morning on an empty stomach before you eat or drink anything else. All right. So that's one thing. It's simple. It's really cost effective. Almost anybody can do it.
So explain exactly what's your recipe for the lime water.
So when I do it, I drink a lot of water. I know some people are not used to drinking a lot of water, but I'll get at least a mason jar, which is 32 ounces for the standard size mason jar. I'll warm the water just a little bit higher than room temperature, and then I will manually juice at least one lime. Some days I'll do 2 limes just because I like my water really, really limey. And then I put that in the water. I sprinkle a little bit of cayenne pepper. But let me tell you what that does for you. It will help boost immunity. It will help improve digestion. Some people have reported getting a flatter stomach as a result of it. Some people have also reported energy, a boost of their energy right after it. And the other thing that it does is it will cause your body or to help your body to be more alkaline. So you'll start your day more alkaline than if you were to just grab some bacon, eggs, or whatever. So
alkalinity is basic, whereas the opposite of alkaline is acid, you guys. So I'm sure a lot of people know about acid reflux and stuff, or GERD. That's why alkalinity is so important. Yep. Dr. Rowe, what is your morning, what is your morning ritual that you think is a great immune booster?
That's a great immune booster? Well, first I changed my attitude. I want to make sure I start off my attitude. I start off my day with a prayerful, a grateful, and centered and clear attitude. So that's the first thing to boost my immunity. I also love to laugh. Laughter is a great immunity booster. So I would also say to go with Coach Chandler's recommendations that if you expose yourself to information or to funny things like movies, a funny movie, a funny television show, whatever it is that you watch, if you expose.
Okay. So, and then you also had mentioned sleep. So even before we get to that lime water, sleep is so important. And people really don't understand how important sleep is. Sleep, if you can get at least 7 hours, and I know it's a lot for a lot of people, but if you can try and get 7 hours of sleep a night, I'm telling you, it is a game changer. Your mind is going to be clearer, and it will help with your immunity. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, back to me. The moving chair of the interview. Yeah. So I start my day off like that. There's nothing in particular that I eat or drink to start off in the morning. I just want to make sure that I always have a variety of foods. I just want to make sure that I put foods of a variety, like colorful vegetables and fruit, enough of those, and when I say enough of those, I mean the majority of my plate or my meal is going to be colorful vegetables and fruit. And the reason is because of what we've been talking about. In those colors, the pigments that give those fruits and vegetables their colors are chemical compounds that are phytochemicals and antioxidants that go a long way, not only to boost immunity, but they go a long way to fight chronic disease. So I make sure that I have a good complement of that in every meal. And I like to start my day off with that.
So we had someone say that it's not good to eat fish. It said seafood. I'll say that. That's what it said, seafood. Can someone address why someone would think that? Now, I will tell you, it's not good for me because I'm allergic. But
you have allergies, a number of them, but I would say you find if you're looking to boost your immunity, shrimp and scallops will give you, like I said, 16 or 17%.
So I'll go ahead and address that because, you know, I promote a largely plant-based lifestyle.
right.
So what I will say in that is the question that the person said is not good to eat fish. That can be true for some people, especially if they have an allergy. If the person has concerns about, you know, mercury in the water, if they have concerns about the toxicity that's in the fish, for example, the level of toxicity is going to be higher in farm-raised fish than it will be in wild-caught fish. So that's a quality issue. So if you are choosing to consume, so Dr. Rowe, the thing that I would say, I would speak to it because I do promote a largely plant-based lifestyle. So if you're concerned about the quality of fish, then you want to go for a wild-caught fish. If quality is a concern, if toxicity is a concern, that's sure. Those are the things you should look into.
And I would just say it's not just the quality, it's the nutritional value. Farm fish does not have the nutritional value that wild-caught fish does. And the other part of it is there's a lot of farm fish that literally has damaging chemicals to the body, you know, because it depends on how the fish is farmed and whether or not it's done responsibly. And I know it's supposed to be about sustainability, but the long and short of this, a great number of your farm fish on the market is not about sustainability. It's about money. And, you know, you can have farm tilapia, and even farm salmon that are fed, you know, chicken feathers, chicken feces, and droppings from you know, from birds. Yeah. So yeah, I don't recommend farm fish by and large, and I definitely don't recommend seafood that comes from China because they don't have regulations, the same regulations or any regulations for that.
So if you are concerned about the quality of fish or toxicity in fish, and the other thing about seafood is that in some cases it's higher in parasites than other foods. So if that is something you're concerned about, then you should explore going more plant-based. And what could that look like? So Dr. Rowe did talk about more vegetables on your plate and more fruit. You can achieve a great amount of nutrient density still without consuming animal products. So if you're concerned about fish, or if you're concerned about any other animal product or how any other animal product is prepared, because we're talking a lot about what to put on the plate, but we haven't spoken yet about how to prepare it. Because if you bought a red bell pepper and it's organic and it has the maximum amount of nutrition that it's supposed to have, if you fry it or boil it for a long period of time, the nutrient value that you could out of it is completely gone.
Out the window.
So those are some factors that we also have to address, is preserving that nutrient density. So just to recap really quickly, if you're concerned about fish or any other meat, it's possible to nourish yourself well with just plants. If you're concerned about protein, there are seeds like hemp seeds. There are beans. Black beans are awesome. Chickpeas are awesome.
Lentils. There's a whole bunch of ways to get
so much with lentils. There's so many beans that you can use as a plant-based protein source that are adequate. But as we start piling our plate with mostly, I often tell people, even if you're not, especially at this time, even if you don't choose to go plant-based, try to do a 90-10 or a 80-20.
Yeah.
Where you reduce the meat down to 10% and the rest of your plate is nutrient dense vegetables when it's mealtime as much as possible. If possible, when it comes to the vegetables, a fact is for a vegetable, before it's heated, it's going to have its highest nutrient value. The longer you cook it or boil it, the more you're going to cook the nutrients out of it.
So what she's saying is when you put those greens on at 9 a.m. and have them cooking all day, By the time you all eat dinner and have them, all the nutrients have been cooked out. So pay attention to your water. Your water should not be green.
So for the people that eat the standard American diet or the standard Southern diet, which is worse than the standard American diet. I'm in the South, so people get extreme with their food sometimes. Here are some suggestions. If you're gonna make greens, it is possible to make the greens taste just as good as you're used to without adding fat back. Without adding smoked turkey. You can use some seasonings and spices, which also have their benefits. You can use a vegetable bouillon, some onion powder, garlic powder, a little bit of salt. If you have it, the Slap Your Mama seasoning, maybe even a little bit of paprika, cumin if you like the flavor. If you like sugar in your greens, maybe a little bit of, I use coconut sugar and onions and celery, and use that to flavor the water the way that you want to, and then use that broth to basically stir fry the greens. It'll have the same flavor and you don't lose as much nutrient density.
Right. You don't have to cook them all day. Yeah.
And also explore having a portion of that uncooked, a salad, a wrap, a pate, a sauce, a dressing that is uncooked. Consider that so that you can preserve more of that nutrient density and take that in. Number one, it's going to be easier for your body to break it down, process it, and use it. And for you to get the benefit out of it, right? Because we want to get the benefit. And right now, because we are concerned about the nutrient value helping us to boost our immunity, this gives you the tools to be able to still enjoy your food and still kind of improve your nutritional value at the same time. So consider the proportions, and then having part of it, if you're going to use bell peppers, don't cook them, leave them raw. All right.
Or you can saute them. But the thing is, for it to go along with the greens, if you just saute your greens in some extra virgin olive oil and a small amount of water, so your whole batch of greens shouldn't have more than a half a cup to a cup of water. So you can saute them in extra virgin olive oil. You can add a squeeze of lemon when you serve it, and you can add some red cayenne pepper as you're cooking them. You have sauteed greens. You don't have boiled greens. The least amount of water for all of your vegetables. So steaming, sauteing, roasting, even broiling your vegetables are the best ways to do them so that you don't lose nutrients, like water-soluble nutrients. For example, vitamins C, for example, that you don't lose those nutrients. That's the reason why your grandmother probably told you about drinking the pot liquor from your greens, because that all the nutrients
are in there.
Yeah, they were leached into the water. But this way, you don't have to do it that way. You can still retain the flavor. Add some vinegar and hot sauce to your sauteed greens. You still got Southern cooked greens.
Right. Exactly. So we had somebody talked about some products, but I want to get to that in a minute. But I know a lot of people are big on these smoothies and juices, and they're great when done properly. So can you guys address that? Because I know for a fact I have a family member who would put every fruit that we had in the house in there, and we were like, you're going to have diabetes. This is not a good idea, because that's too much sugar. So can you please speak to that?
So I couldn't really hear the question, but I did hear that people are sabotaging themselves by making juices and smoothies, putting too much sugar, right? Yeah. Is that what I heard?
Yes.
So, and is this about the fruit, the sugar from the fruit?
I'm talking about the fruit sugar. Yeah. So if you could explain the right way to make a smoothie so that it's not doing harm and it's doing good.
Right. So you want to have more vegetables.
Oh, shoot. Go ahead.
So my perspective on this is very different from the mainstream. I will talk about smoothies first, and then I'll go into juicing, because the two are very different.
Very different, yes.
So when it comes to smoothies or shakes,
go ahead.
So shakes, one of the things that I recommend is that people try to, just because I believe in the principles of proper food combining. So let me lay that as a foundation. If you don't understand it, it'd be great to do the research on it, because it is a powerful tool to not only boost your immune system, but your full body functionality through that one principle. But I recommend that if people are going to make smoothies that include fruit and vegetables, that I recommend that they use apples, because that is the best fruit to combine with vegetables, or pears, lemons, limes, avocados. That's it. I still wouldn't put all of them in one juice.
Mhm.
Maybe an example would be some apple juice, or a fresh apple, some chard. I would do chard, because chard breaks down really easily and it's not bitter. A little bit of lemon juice, a little bit of ginger, and there you are.
Mhm. And that ginger is going to give you a boost of energy. And if you add a little bit of maca green tea powder, you're going to have energy going through the roof, and you're going to boost your immunity.
So that's my suggestion. Number one, for food combining purposes. And then as you start being consistent with things like that, because a lot of times people get into juicing in this culture, they're motivated by something. A lot of times that motivation is not just, I should do better by my body and my health. Sometimes that motivation is they got some news from the doctor that they didn't like. They see something in the mirror that they no longer agree with, or they have something coming up, an event or something like. So it's normally motivated by something. So if that is the case, then the sugar content is definitely going to be a factor. And so if you're concerned about sugar, you could use a little bit less apple, add some clean water in there, some filtered, distilled, or alkaline, or even coconut water, and then which has a little bit of sugar. Make sure there's no sugar added. And that will, as you start introducing those types of foods and juices consistently, you'll notice a big difference in how you feel. So that's my thought on the smoothie part. We can talk about juicing when you're ready.
So I have one other thing to add to the smoothie thing, because I think of smoothies as shakes. It's all the same to me. And then I think of juices as something different. But I like to add hemp protein powder or hemp protein concentrate to smoothies and juices, because you do need the protein. And it's a plant protein, so you don't have to worry about allergies from dairy or any of that.
That is a good point. As you know,
right.
So when it comes to shakes, so the smoothies, I see smoothies as when you're taking the fresh fruit and vegetables and creating a drink from that. The shakes are more when you bring in, for me, when you bring in the powders. And yes, she is correct. One of the powders, as you know, Dr. Renee, it's the primary ingredient is hemp protein powder, or hemp seeds. You can just get the seeds themselves. They blend extremely well. So that's a great point. It is a very absorbable form of plant-based protein. So it's easy for your body to actually utilize it and get the benefit. Compared to some other proteins, your body has to work harder to be able to get that benefit. So that's a great point, Dr. Rowe. Go ahead. We were just holding it together until you.
Cool. Look, I'm going to keep coming back. I don't care how many times it goes down. I'm going to keep coming back.
We appreciate it. We appreciate it. So now address the juicing.
You want to move next to juicing?
Yeah.
Is that what I heard? So,
yeah. Go ahead.
So when it comes to juicing, I still subscribe to the same concept of the proper food combining. Okay. I'm a fan of juicing because it simplifies the nutrition so that your body can absorb it easily. All right. So it's simple. It's a simple way for your body to get the nutrients. The thing about when you go to the store and you see the juices, there are factors that you have to consider when it comes to juicing. Number one, how long ago was it juiced? Because if you can have it sooner, it's going to have a higher nutrient value than if it's 5, 6, 7, 8 days old, right? So that's one thing. If you're making the juice fresh, I recommend that people, if you can afford it and you have it, use a slow auger juicer, because that type of juicer will not allow as much oxidation to get in the juice, which will preserve the nutrient density a little bit longer. So you can have more of it. for longer periods of time. That's number one. Centrifugal juices are fine if you have one, but you want to have that juice within 24 hours. And those are the juices that spin really, really fast and make a lot of noise. You want to try to have that juice within 24 hours. Just to kind of lay a foundation for the average American, especially if they're consuming the standard American diet, a juice out of the grocery store is better than going through the drive-thru at McDonald's, right? So we want to keep that in context. But when you get into juicing, my suggestion is you want to start going in the direction of getting the full benefit out of high nutrient dense foods, the kales, the chards, the wheatgrass, notice everything I mentioned is green so far.
Yeah.
Because those are the things that are chlorophyll rich that are going to help you with that positive rejuvenation of the body and the cells, right? So that's number one. And then you can get into the beets and even cabbage. You know, I love red cabbage juice, and the color is amazing and the benefits are amazing. So with all of that, and the detoxification properties are amazing as well. So the thing about juicing is you want to get the most bang for your buck in what you're investing in. So if you get a juice and you fill it up with a whole bunch of fruit juices, you're high on sugar, but you may not have gotten a lot of the stuff that's really going to help you to fully rejuvenate your body. And if you're working on something to improve your situation, I'll use that terminology. So my suggestion is I will always suggest that you work on following proper food combining and weaning yourself off being dependent on a lot of sugar in your juices. You can get to a point where, for example, celery juice. People who start working with celery juice, they get to a point where they don't need apple juice with it. So that's my suggestion when it comes to the juicing. Food combining and get the most bang for your buck. I'm not going to eat a pound of chard raw that often, but I'll juice it and drink it and still get the benefit. So that's my thoughts. Go ahead, Dr. Rowe.
So I agree with juicing as a part of a whole diet, a holistic diet.
So I wanted to say, so if you didn't see when Coach Chandler was on before, she was talking about food combining. So that video is right here on blackdoctor.org. You can look it up and see what she was talking about. But it's really interesting to find out what foods you need to eat with what foods to help with proper digestion and actually losing weight, which a lot of people want to do. How long should one juice only? What do you think, Coach Chandler?
So that depends on the person. It depends on the person. I have seen people, I've actually monitored somebody in fasting up to 30 days. I myself have fasted up to 15 days. So the thing about that is you want to know or have a good idea of your overall level of health, right? So if you are generally healthy, you know, or you talk to your doctor about the idea of you fasting and they give you the go ahead, then there's a couple ways you can explore it. I tell people to start, just do 24 hours. And if you're going to juice fast, you got to drink a lot of juice. Sometimes people say, oh, I'm going to juice fast, and then they only want to drink 2 juices in that day. No. I recommend if you choose to do a juice fast, you need to have at least about 432 ounces, which is a gallon of fresh juice that day. This is not about feeling famished or not nourishing yourself. This is about simplifying the nutrition so that your body can get the benefit of you giving your digestive system that break and that increase in nutrient density. Okay.
It's a detox.
Yes. So remember that part. Increase in nutrient density, take the stress off the body, because we don't realize how much stress we put on our bodies with the things that we eat every day. And that's why over time, people start getting weaknesses in the digestive system, acid reflux, diverticulitis. That stuff didn't happen overnight. You know, when it gets to a place where somebody has, you know, they're pre-diabetic, they're diabetic, that's the pancreatic weakness. That didn't happen overnight. That was day after day after day of habits that were working against you nutritionally. So you just want to start incorporating some habits that can work for you a little bit. And so now's a great time to explore that, because people are closer to home.
People are cooking more.
Yeah,
People aren't, because the restaurants are closed. It's not necessarily that you can go to get your favorite restaurant food because a lot of the places are closed.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are cooking more.
Yeah.
I also want to say that both Dr. Rowe and Coach Chandler have both been very successful in helping people who were given a diabetes diagnosis, but they have both been able to get people off of diabetes medication because of their programs, which we will let them talk about in a minute. But I want to make sure you understand, when you are given a type 2 diabetes diagnosis, that does not have to be the end. You do not have to be on insulin for the rest of your life. If you choose not to, and you choose to make smart decisions and change your lifestyle, I hate to use the word diet, change your lifestyle and the way that you eat and the way that you drink, the way that your activity, when you change all of those things, that is how you can, get off of the medications. Exact same thing with hypertension. And I know both of them have been very successful with people with that as well. You do not have to take blood pressure medicine for the rest of your life if you change your habits, because there was habits that brought on the high blood pressure. And if you change the habits, you can also take away the high blood pressure. So that's why I was saying that the 3 conditions that are causing people to have a horrible outcome when it comes to COVID-19 are conditions that we could actually control if we do the proper eating, exercise. Those are the 2 things. If we do that, we can actually, not have these conditions at all. Or if you already have them, please, I am a medical doctor, so please take the medication that your doctor has prescribed for you. But at the exact same time, speak to your physician or get a health coach like Coach Chandler, or get a nutritionist like Dr. Rowe, and talk to and work and have them work cohesively with your physician to help you to get off of these medications. Because I'll be honest with you, all the physicians that I personally know, and I know a lot, none of us want you on medication. And Dr. Sam is in here, actually. She's watching right now. Dr. Sam is one of my friends as well. We don't want you on medication. We would like you to use food as medicine. Right, ladies?
Yeah.
Let me add to that. So in us helping people to better nourish themselves, to get positive results, that it does take work, but it can happen. And it doesn't have to take forever. That's number one. Because people get, you got to think a lot of these eating habits have been passed down from, people's parents.
Years.
And they associate it with love and success and happiness and celebrations and holidays. So there are some major emotional components, nutritional deficiency components, but there are some major emotional components that are tied to food. But I think I can speak safely for myself and probably for Dr. Rowe as well. When you're working with someone like us to make the lifestyle, the mindset, the habit changes that you need to make, and also to rediscover food. A lot of times it will take a rediscovery of what's possible taste-wise, right? And what's possible in general. You may be eating, like now, I love seaweed, eat it all the time. Didn't grow up eating it though, but now it is a staple in my diet. Now, with that being, for a lot of reasons, but with that being said, when you're working with someone like me or Dr. Rowe, we would never say, stop taking your medicine. That process is, as you're changing your habits, as you're changing your diets, you're incorporating new foods, you're incorporating new drinks, you're reducing some of the things that are working against you. What happens is your physiology changes. So if you went to Dr. Renee on April the 1st and you said, Dr. Renee, I'm thinking about changing my diet. I'd like for you to take my blood work. I don't feel 100%. I know you want me to get better. Let's just see what's possible. I've hired this lady and we're going to work on it. And then you go back on April the 30th and your blood work is different. And you feel like some of the things that you have incorporated are sustainable for you, are now part of your life. Then now we have a conversation that we can continue with Renee, with Dr. Renee, so that if we sustain that level of change, adjustment, growth, success, then the blood work will speak for you. And she'll say, you know what, based on how your body is showing, what your body is showing me, we don't think you need this anymore. So I want to make that very clear, because sometimes people will want to get off the medication overnight, or they will read a book, or they'll see something about a herb or a juice or a tea or a tonic or some type of therapy, and they want to go get it one time, one day, and feel like all of the stuff that they've been doing for the last 30 years has somehow been erased. The same way it took 30 years, 20 years, 15 years to create an issue, you also have to work to shift from a pivot from that issue. And it may not happen overnight, and it doesn't have to take 15 years, but it is a process, and your body will tell you when you're ready to shift.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. They work cohesively with the physician. So the testing is still being done. Blood work is still, that's what they're doing. They're looking at your blood work to make certain. Somebody said, can you freely give tips on what foods to avoid to get off blood pressure medication? I mean, that is a very loaded question. But what we've said through this entire 46 minutes is we've talked about all these different foods that you can incorporate into your lifestyle. And honestly, because Coach Chandler she preaches a plant-based lifestyle. I will be honest with you all. She knows I eat meat, and I don't have high blood pressure. I don't have diabetes, etc. So if you do these things in moderation, and you're also active, because you have to get out and do stuff. And even though we are sheltering in place, there is so much we can do right here. We can, you can just have a dance party, especially if it's not you by yourself. And if it is but you by yourself, do it. You can have a dance party. Dance your butt off for 30 minutes straight, or do 3 segments of 10 minutes.
Yep. You
can do yoga. Let me just tell you right now, so many people are giving free yoga online. There's yoga workouts on all these different smart TVs. There's different apps that have free yoga. There's free workouts on these different apps on the smart TV. There's free workouts on YouTube. Yesterday, I fell down the rabbit hole and was watching all these workouts on YouTube. They have a whole bunch of dance workouts even. I'm Caribbean. They have Socanomics. So we got Soca workouts. They have Zumba workouts. A lot of your gyms, your local gyms, those people are going online. Here at blackdoctor.org, every day, Monday through Friday, there is workouts, I believe, in the morning and at lunch. So there's so many places to get these free workouts. Make it happen. Yes, my brother DJ D Nice is killing it on IG Live most nights. Have a dance party with your family. I also posted to my link, my YouTube channel, a way for you to be able to use your Fire Stick to throw your IG Live to your TV. So that makes it a little bit easier for everybody to hear the music and everyone to celebrate. So there's so many ways to get these workouts in. And so like I said, you don't have to eliminate completely. You just have to eat in moderation and make sure you're eating more vegetables than you are of starches, and everyone knows, I think they know, I hope they know, white starches are really not that great for most of us. And I mean, I love mashed potatoes with the next woman. I love them, but I don't eat them much. And if I eat them that one time, and then I probably don't have them for another several months. But I will tell you, mashed cauliflower is a great substitute. If you just treat it the way you would treat your mashed potatoes, and I'm not saying put a lot of butter, because we don't need to do that either, but there's all sorts of ways, there's garlic mash, and there's all sorts of ways to doctor them up. I put a little chicken broth in the water that I use to boil the cauliflower in, so then that flavoring is infused. But mashed cauliflower is the bomb, and it is a great substitute for mashed potatoes. I've said this before. I'll say it again. I have an air fryer, and I've been putting chicken in there, and you can't tell me that the Colonel didn't fry it himself. It is fantastic. So you combine that with my mashed cauliflower, and I'll eat the chicken. Like last night, I didn't bread it. It was delicious, but I'll even bread it. And what do I bread it with? Flax seeds. I ground flax seeds and breaded it with flax seeds, seasons it as well. And there I have my fried chicken and mashed potatoes, but it's the healthy version. I don't have to feel guilty about it. So there's so many different ways to definitely alter things, and they can taste good. Healthy food does not have to taste bad. My sister's a chef, so I don't know anything about bad tasting food. Healthy food can taste good. It's just all about how you season it. And you don't have to use salt to season stuff.
Yeah.
Because salt is really not the friend of most Black people. Did anyone know that salt has a different reaction in our bodies than it does in other people that are not Black? So that is something that a lot of people don't realize, which is why we have hypertension in such large percentages compared to others, because salt has a different effect on our bodies. So if you can stay away from the salt or go lighter on the salt, I'm telling you, it will save your life, literally save your life. But Coach Chandler, I want you to please talk about your program and how people can find you, because I want people to work with you and Dr. Rowe, because I don't want to hear about another death due to COVID-19. And I'm telling you, it has a lot to do with the obesity, diabetes, and the hypertension in our community.
Okay. I want to address the question of the lady regarding, is there something she can take? First, I want to thank her for asking the question, which means she's looking for solutions. And so for her and anybody else that's actually looking for solutions, asking questions is great, but going further and exploring the possibilities of what you can do different is even better. Because if we were able to tell you 1 or 2 supplements, herbs, foods to eat, which I can drop a few of them, but you have to remember, it took you in your body years. Can you hear me, Renee? Okay.
Yeah.
It took you in your body years to create that particular challenge. And so you have to be able to put yourself in a position to where you can detoxify and start to balance your body out again and even strengthen your body again, so that which is now presenting as a weakness can shift. So I want you to remember that. But if I had somebody in my life that was concerned about hypertension, I would definitely reduce the table salt intake or the salt intake altogether. One of the reasons why we use salt so much is because we do need the mineral iodine that is in it. But a lot of the table salt, I don't know what just happened, but I'm just going to keep going. A lot of the table salt, especially the old school Morton salt, when they process the salt, they process the iodine out and then they fortify it back in with a synthetic form of iodine, which is really unhealthy. So I would definitely reduce all of the salt from their lifestyle, which is totally possible. To get the iodine, I would use sea vegetables. There are many. There are a lot of different seaweeds, sea vegetables. There are a lot of them. All of them have iodine, okay? And they won't have that adverse effect that you get from consuming salt. So that's one action that I would take. The other thing is I would promote a largely plant-based diet. The 90-10 would be a good start. Some vegetables that I would look into incorporating daily, whether it be juiced, whether it be cooked.
Wait, Coach Chandler, 90-10, let's be clear. That's 90% eating correctly, whatever the plan is, and 10% of you eating whatever you wanted to eat, or not so healthy.
I say 10% of the animal.
Yeah.
If you gotta have animal. 10% of the animal. So 10% animal products. So with that being said, most people will notice a shift with that. And then as far as things to incorporate, celery juice is really good. First thing in the morning on an empty stomach for people who are hypertensive, celery juice is amazing. Start with a small amount, okay? Because it can have some detoxifying effects. So start with a small amount, 8 ounces or so, and then work your way up to 32 ounces. Another one would be beets. Start with a small amount. Beets are extremely strong and they are very detoxifying, and the stuff that comes out will be red. Okay, whatever comes out of you will be red. That scares some people. Okay, so you want to drink a lot of water if you're having the beets. That's the other thing we definitely need to talk about is hydration. But if you're going to consume beets, you definitely need to drink a lot of water. Okay, but those are two things that literally, if you have those early in the day, you will notice a difference compared to other days if you have a problem with hypertension. Okay, so those are some things I suggest you research, but don't forget it took your body years to create that, and you're going to have to shift so that you can rebalance yourself. Okay. Now, as far as what I have, programs that I have to offer and things that I have to offer, the first thing I want to talk about is the simple and quick fixes. Well, simple and quick solutions that I have. The first one is I have a tea that is called Wellness Oasis. It does boost immunity. Okay. It's really good at boosting immunity. Some people have lost weight with it. So it's really popular for that reason. It wasn't designed for that. It actually was designed to be extremely nutrient dense, because most people say that they're too busy to eat well. They're too busy to cook. They're too busy to make healthier choices, right? And so it was originally designed to give people a nutritional boost with the herbs that are in that tea, okay? It also helps with allergies as well, because one of the ingredients in it is nettle, okay? And it's nutrient rich, but it also is good for allergies. So a lot of people will go to the doctor with sinus infections and they will come out with COVID-19. So the tea is amazing. That's one thing that I feel like is a good daily supplemental tool that they can use. And then I also have the breakfast, or I call it breakfast shake, or the plant-based protein powder. So if you are exploring going more plant-based or getting protein other than meat in any way, you should explore that plant-based protein powder. Dr. Renee's had it. She seems to
It's so good. The cinnamon one, oh my God, it is so good. And
Yeah.
I didn't eat, because I told her, I'm like, I can't just drink this, but I could. You just put it with, what did I put it with? Oat milk.
Yep.
And then I would put just a little bit of honey or agave nectar. These are sugar substitutes, quote unquote substitutes, not really, but they have a low glycemic index, which means that they're not going to raise your blood sugar as quickly as if you put a bunch of actual sugar or Splenda or something like that in there. So agave nectar and honey are good substitutes. And when I tell you it was delicious, it is delicious.
Another one to look at is also blackstrap molasses. It does not spike the blood sugar, and it's also richer in minerals. It will give it more of a caramelly like taste, but it's awesome with the shake. When I give it to children, I always add that to it. So, and for people who are anemic, that's a good tool to use as well, because it's rich in iron, it's rich in calcium, and it's also rich in copper for the people who are having issues with gray hair. Okay, and gray hair will help with. Copper will help with gray hair. So the shake is also one of the main ingredients in there is cinnamon, which is good for both hypertension and diabetes. It's extremely effective for people who have blood sugar issues, to help to balance that out. If you're on medication, take your medication, but this is a great supplement to help you as well with that. And as far as my programs, I offer 3 programs: 30-day, 3-month, and 6-month. And we determine which one might work best for you based on what's going on with your individual needs. So in order to work with me, I often ask people to start with a consultation. Okay. Consultations last right at about an hour, and all of the programs are customized to the individual. Okay. And so that's the best way to work with me. You can go to thrivenowwellness.com and go to shop. And there is where you can see the tea, you can see the protein powder, and you can also see the consultation. And you can book your consultation there. And that's how you would get started to work with me.
And definitely let her know that you saw her on blackdoctor.org, because then she'll know that, look, this wasn't a waste of her time this morning, because this is early for all of us. But thank you so much, Coach Chandler. This was great information. There was one other thing I wanted somebody, tell them the name of the tea again, but it's only one tea in your shop, right?
Yep, that's the only one I have up right now. There will be more, but that's the one I have now.
Right.
Wellness Oasis.
Yeah, so that's the name of the tea. Also, somebody wanted to know, was there reliable research that shows people with O blood type have milder symptoms of contracting the virus? That would be a no. So right now, it is really just, please don't have one of the 3 underlying conditions that are really wreaking havoc on people. And unfortunately, those people are not having a good outcome: obesity, diabetes, and hypertension. Please, please, please go to the doctor regularly, so then you would know if that's where if you have one of those. I recently was on a webinar with someone who had COVID-19 and did successfully come out of it, and she's fine. but they had asked her about underlying conditions and she didn't realize hypertension was one of them. So please, please, please understand that hypertension is a underlying condition for a whole lot of things. But hypertension, diabetes, and obesity, like I said, those are the big three that 90%, 94, I think they said 91% of the people that had died in Chicago, the Black people that died in Chicago, that's 91% of them had one of those three things. And so we want to please try and do whatever we can now that we're cooking more and being more healthy. We want to make certain that we try to turn these things around while we have time. I mean, when else will you have a moment to just pause like this and be able to cook for your family and be in charge of what your children put in their mouths because they're not out in their friends' cars or in their car driving to the drive-thru? This is the time to implement that. And I'm telling you, you will rediscover, like she said, you'll discover stuff you thought you hated as a kid, but now it's delicious. I've seen so many people say they hated Brussels sprouts and now they love them. I didn't eat cabbage now the way I did. I did eat cabbage, but I didn't eat it the way I eat it now. Like I will literally get a large cabbage with my dinner. And they're like, you want a whole thing of cabbage? A whole thing of cabbage. So definitely make certain that you like and share this. Please share it. It's going to be up here forever. So you can always come back and watch if you need to. We have put Dr. Rowe is actually in the comments answering questions, but we put Dr. Rowe's programs in the comments. So feel free to click those links and check out her programs. Dr. Rowe and Coach Chandler both have a very large social media presence. So you can always visit them online and check out what they're talking about. Thrive Now Wellness is on Facebook, so you can check it out. And Dr. Rowe has her own page on Facebook. And like I said, she goes live from her kitchen usually. And she, talks about all sorts of healthy stuff. And she's trying to give you great information. Dr. Rowe has written several books. I thought one of them was sitting right here. But the last one is called Fit 15. And so you lose 15 pounds. And I forgot the amount of time. But yeah, we will put the link to the book there too. But everyone, please have a great afternoon, and we will see
Renee,
you.
I want to add.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So we did talk about adjustments that you can make. What happens if you leave out of your house and you come back home and something does not feel right? Right. So the onset of something. Emergency 911. I might be in trouble. What can I do before I run out and go to the hospital? Okay. If it's the onset, a lot of times people get that opportunity. They'll feel something, a scratch in their throat, or wake up with more phlegm than usual. Here are some things that I suggest are like the 911. I mean, you can do it every day, but these are like the 911. Oh my God, I don't know what just happened. Go-tos. The first thing I would do is, if you can get to it, I would get to some ginger, clean it. First choice is to clean it, peel it, and juice it. If you can take 8 ounces, because ginger is strong. If you can take 8 ounces or 16 ounces, take it down. If you need to cut it with some lemon juice or some pineapple juice, do that. Get it in as much as you can. If you can get to either some oil of oregano or some black seed oil, either or, both of those are natural antibiotics to help your body to start to fight. Get that in as well. Okay. And then you want to be drinking warm lemon water. If it's respiratory that is responding, if your respiratory is already responding, you want to try to find some fenugreek and thyme. Cheap, simple, amazing for the respiratory system. And you want to be having that throughout the day. If you are afraid that something has gotten a hold of you, those are the things you want to be doing immediately and throughout the day. Okay? That has turned a lot of situations around in a very short amount of time. Okay?
Thank you, Coach Chandler.
But if you get to a point where you're scared because you went to the grocery store and now you have a thing, immediately, let that be your go-to.
Thank you, Coach Chandler. I did find Dr. Rowe's book, and Dr. Rowe has rejoined us, but here's Dr. Rowe's book, Lose Your Final 15. This is her last book that she wrote, and it is amazing. Go ahead, Dr. Rowe, and tell people where they can find you and all that great stuff.
Find me at everythingro.com. That's everythingro.com right there. Follow me on social media. Follow me on Facebook and get more information like this, because I give it out, daily. And I hope to link up with you on some of the programs. I've developed some programs that I think go a long way to help you. And so I'm looking forward to working with you.
Awesome sauce. Thank you so much, Dr. Rowe. Thank you, Coach Chandler. And you guys, thank you for your time. I hope this has been beneficial. I've seen some people say that it was, so I'm so happy that people got something out of this. Don't forget to continue to have watch parties and share this, because this is great information that everyone keeps asking us, well, what can we do to boost our immune system? Well, here's great information from two people that know best what to do. And so thank you so much. Everyone have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye.